Hi there, everybody. Here I am. It's Tara Cooper, and I'm going to be communicating about something that's really important today. I tried to do this recording last night. It didn't work, so here I am doing it this morning, and my kids are here, so just as a warning, I might have a few interruptions, but I really want to get this message out. And I have a few things I'm going to share with you as far as just more messaging about this. I was going to plan more for this webinar today, but I do realize that this is something that needs a lot of attention, and it's going to be one that I will hope that every single person building an Isagenix business is going to listen to and watch, because it is going to be the difference between us continuing to be an amazing company or having something go wrong and we won't have Isagenix around. So thank you for taking the time to do this today. It's certainly not a sexy topic. Sometimes we get into recordings and do webinars, and sometimes, and I'm just saying this because it's not always easy to get to the real serious part of the business, but for some people it's just too serious to get involved with, or it's too serious to take the time to listen and really learn about this. So I'm going to do a really great start of this, and I know that Isagenix has a lot of things planned for us in this area, but today it's all about compliance. We really need to be cracking down on compliance because it is a serious matter. So I'm just going to share my screen. I've got a couple things that are going to be videos to share, as well as obviously some of my PowerPoints that I took away. I was at the San Diego celebration just a few weeks ago, and one of the breakout sessions that I chose to go to was the compliance one. And, you know, again, it's funny how 6 years ago, or even 4 years ago, or 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been so concerned about going to a compliance seminar. But this time something was calling me. That was the one thing that I knew I must attend. As much as there were other really great ones being offered, I just knew that compliance was something I needed to attend for not only myself, but for all of you that are watching. So bear with me as I get into the screen share here. Just want to make sure I'm doing this right again. I always do this. All right, hopefully. Hopefully you're seeing this now. Sorry, I'm always worried that you're not going to see what I'm showing you, and I'm pretty certain I did it right, but desktop, yes, I'm hoping. All right, sorry guys. I know that this, oh, here we go. Got me back. Okay, screen share, there we go. All right, so as you can see, there's Eric Worre. I'm going to share something about what he had to say about all this, but let's take a look. So last week when I was away, and the week before that, I recommended that you guys take a look at week 6 and 7 personal branding. There was a call that I had done, and it was posted in our group. If you're looking at this for the first time and you're not in our group, please get in touch with me and I'll send you that link if you'd like. And then commonly asked questions. Again, there's so many common questions that I get asked on a regular basis, so I put a call together just for commonly asked questions. So those are the two things I said. If you get a chance to keep up with, you know, taking action every week, those were two really great calls that you could key into. So this week, however, it's week number 8, and we're talking about compliance. What is okay to say about the products? What's okay to say about income opportunity? And how serious really is this? Because, you know, I find that as someone who's been building this business for 6 years, I've seen a lot. And I will admit I've done a lot. I've done things that were not compliant, and I even went as far as getting a letter from the lawyers in Isagenix telling me to remove something off a website that I had created. And I was excited. I was so excited about what I had written that it all came from scientific information that I was reading and hearing in calls and hearing online and all this kind of stuff. And I had no idea that what I had created was not compliant, because I was just taking words from other people's mouths that I highly respected, and people who, scientifically are connected with our company. But what that's about is that, the whole thing is we think we know what's compliant sometimes, and we think we're not causing harm, but in the end, it's actually causing a lot of harm, and it could potentially close us down. So this is very serious. And when I got that letter, it was actually a written letter. I got an email also, but the letter that came in my mail, that was the day I went, oh my goodness. And this was like within the first 2 years of me doing my business. And I remember thinking, wow, that was close. Like, thank goodness Isagenix was so generous to not just close me down, because that's technically what they could do, is just totally, remove me from the opportunity. And they gave me a warning. It was one of those things where I thought, oh my gosh, this is serious business. So it is everyone's responsibility to understand compliance. Don't think you're just going to get away with it. Don't assume that everything you say is okay. If you're ever uncertain, ask somebody who's been in the business, or somebody that is really strong about compliance, because it really is everyone's responsibility. And I'll give you another piece of information. After you go through this today, I hope that now you will recognize the things you've been doing possibly incorrectly, and also recognize when people in Facebook or any other social media, or even in person at events, when they say something or do something that is not compliant, there's a really nice and easy way that we can let people know that it's not okay. Really, you're not being bossy, you're protecting every single person's business by stepping up and speaking out for this. All right, so what is compliance? First of all, I want to give you a website, isagenixcompliance.com. We are going to go to that site in a little while, but I wanted to give you that information first, because that's where you're going to find a lot of info. It is everyone's job, and I just already expressed that. Compliance protects our brand. It protects our individual businesses, and that's so true for all of us. So even someone who thinks they may not be caught saying something that they shouldn't say, or typing something they shouldn't type, it is always going to be there when you say it. So if you've done it in the past, go clean up your stuff. Get rid of stuff that, as you go through this course or this webinar, you're going to notice some things that you've already done that maybe you need to change. And I'm in the same place, don't worry. This is a place to be sure to follow the rules. A lot of times we talk about break the rules. And yes, I get that to an extent, but when it comes to compliance, you don't want to break the rules. It will affect us negatively. And not just you, it'll affect everyone. Really, Isagenix's whole goal right now is that 100% of us get this. Because if only 98% of us get this, there's 2% that could bring the company down, right? So this is a really serious matter, and it is everyone's responsibility. So whether it's my webinar that's going to help just open up some eyes, or whether it's there's some other great things that I'm going to share with you today that you're going to find online as well. It's all of our responsibility to share the message around. And I know that Isagenix has a plan to start having an online course about compliance, and every single person who dips their toe in this business, even if they're just kind of interested, they are going to have to do this course. And it's not the one I'm showing you right now, but much of the information that I'm sharing with you is obviously from the lawyers at Isagenix, because I sat in that room and listened to their presentation. So I'm taking all my notes and putting this into a presentation for you. So like I said, there's eventually going to be an online training program. If something goes wrong, it affects thousands of people building this business. And not only Isagenix, but all of network marketing, because we're all in this together. And some of you may have heard about some things going on with a company right now facing lawsuits, and I'm going to share a bit of that today. But it's real, guys. This happens, and companies are shut down for it. So we really do have to be very careful. What is not compliant? Okay, well, here's a list, and I'm going to get into more detail. Product claims, income claims, lifestyle claims, testimonials, and let's get into it here. Okay, so one of the things that Richard Stagg, and he's one of the lawyers, actually, I think he's the lead attorney or, legal counsel, I guess, at Isagenix. He really is an amazing guy. We had the pleasure and opportunity of having dinner with him one day, Cam and I, when we were at Top Achievers, and we sat beside him. The poor guy didn't really eat much. He was just answering tons of questions from our table, but a really wonderful guy. And, you know, we have the best of the best in Isagenix, and they're really there to protect us. So they talk about how we need to tell the truth, tell the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We've heard that before, and we're going to get into more detail about that. So what does telling the truth mean? Be accurate. We need to be credible, right? So if you don't know something about something in Isagenix, you need to be honest and be totally open and transparent to say, I don't know that answer, but I'll find it for you. Use our marketing resources. These are truth and legal. What marketing resources do we have? We've got things such as the websites, right? We've got IsaMovie, IsaProduct, IsagenixHealth.net, Isagenix Business, Isagenix Compliance now. You know, you've got Isagenix Earnings is another one we're going to talk about. So use the tools. Don't try to create it yourself, because a lot of times it's not going to be the truth, right? So anyway, never lead with a disease. And I know I've heard this so many times. I've heard people say, I had XYZ, I started Isagenix, and now I'm fine. Or I was on X amount of medications for such and such a disease, and after Isagenix, I no longer have XYZ. This is not compliant, and it happens so much. I hear it and I cringe. I read it and I cringe, and I've been getting really good at starting to tell people, you can't say that. No matter what, you can't say it. Even if you try to cover it up somehow with a disclaimer. The disclaimer does not work when you've already made a claim, okay? So these are things that we really, really need to be careful about. Even if your doctor says you no longer need this drug, you can't say it's because of Isagenix, because we're not a drug company, so we can't make drug claims, all right? Even if it is true for you, you can't physically say it. All right, and actually I want to just go back because I want to give an example. Let's see. So here's an example that one of the trainers at the event had mentioned. You know, they say things like, so you might hear somebody say, I was overweight and I had high blood pressure and diabetes. I was on a medication and the doctor told me I could get off now that I'm, you know, using Isagenix. That is not compliant. That is not compliant. So something that would be compliant would be something like, I went to my doctor and I was so excited because I've transformed my health and changed my lifestyle, which changed my health factors. And my doctor took me off my medication. Not once do I say Isagenix cured me. Not once do I say that, you know, I've gotten on something to get rid of something else. It's my lifestyle that I've changed, right? And my health factors changed. So I'm not using words like blood pressure, diabetes, or anything like that. I'm just saying that, you know, I was possibly not very healthy before. I took control. I transformed my own health. I changed my lifestyle. And luckily, you know, my doctor sees huge improvements and I've been able to get off my medication. Not once do I pair that with Isagenix. Let's just go on here. Oops, what am I doing? I'm going backwards. All right, compliance continued. Tell the whole truth. Don't be misleading. Share key facts, but correct any misperceptions. So this is, again, one of those times where there might be misperceptions about, you know, maybe new members or even members that have been here a long time, and maybe they're saying something that is not compliant. If you hear others inside or outside your team, we just need to correct them in a polite manner. So this could be even an example of somebody saying, oh, I heard about, you know, someone who had cancer, blah, blah, blah. You know, I heard their story and it's so exciting. That's where it's our place to say, you know, the misperceptions are Isagenix didn't cure that person. We cannot say that. We cannot say that. What we can say is, this person changed their lifestyle and they are a miracle in a sense. Many people do beat cancer. That's not any sort of, secret. But to say that Isagenix was the reason, we cannot say that. We cannot ever say that. So just really share those facts with people and clear up the misperceptions, because if somebody hears that in one sentence and they've got cancer and this is their hope and they're turning to Isagenix for a cure, that is not okay. These are the misperceptions that happen. And we have to be really, really careful and on our toes about this. Keep in mind that things that we get, as far as results are not always typical. So that's why we can't say certain things happen because of Isagenix. We also cannot guarantee anything, right? We're not guaranteeing results. We're not guaranteeing a cure. We're not guaranteeing, any sort of even proactive as far as, I'm just stumbling on my words right now because I don't ever want to say something that sounds like I'm putting words into what's proper to say, but we can't physically tell people what to expect. Even if you've had 25-pound loss in 6 weeks, you can't say that. And that's something that we'll get into in a little bit more detail. I used to say it all the time, because that was my truth. But I can't say that because other people may expect that they're going to get the same results. So we really do have to be careful what we are saying to people. So some of the things that we've been told in compliance, which I'll get into a little bit more, is that we cannot talk about how long it took us to reach a certain goal, right? We have to be a little bit more loose about that. And it's not being dishonest. It's just being that I can't physically say that everyone's going to lose 25 pounds in 6 weeks, right? Because we know it requires work, skills, time, and discipline, and so much more. Not everyone succeeds in the business either. But the nice thing about it is Isagenix does give everyone the same opportunity to succeed. And for those of you who are succeeding, you know that it takes hard work, dedication, consistency, action, belief, skills, so many things. But a lot of times when we're sharing our success, maybe on Facebook or social media, or even at an event, we're not covering our bases by saying, yeah, this took a long time. This took some serious getting to business, like getting right down to it. This took a lot of hard work. This took a lot of, sleepless nights and head against the wall moments, things like that. People need to hear the truth. So we need to tell the whole truth about our success, not just parts of it to make it look really hypey. All right. See also isagenixearnings.com, because that's a site that you'll see, the proper documentation about the average income being earned and all that sort of stuff. But keep in mind that Isagenix Earnings website has to physically put, no matter if someone is making $10 every 5 months or $10,000 every 5 days, right? It's a huge spread of earnings, and it's going to show probably numbers that look a little bit strange because some of you are really succeeding and it looks like very few people ever will succeed. But keep in mind that people are included in those numbers even if they're really not making money, because every single one of us usually starts on an associate account, but not every person will become a consultant. Does that make sense? So, with those Isagenix earnings in mind, those are the real numbers because they're including everybody, even if they've made really nothing. So anyway, let's see. Sorry, I put these slides together really quickly last night, and then when it didn't work for me, I decided to do it this morning. So it's a little bit combobulated, but we'll get through it. When sharing product testimonials, okay, remember, this is again an example that we need to show that the results are because of proper lifestyle changes, right? So yes, did I lose my weight without exercise in the beginning? I did. I wasn't someone that exercised. So when I lost that kind of weight without exercise, I realized, wow, this is awesome. So, but the thing is, and I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not going to say that I exercised and I, did this, this, and this, and then I lost my 25 pounds. No, I actually changed my lifestyle with the help of Isagenix. And even though I didn't exercise, and I will say that because that's how it was, even though I didn't exercise, I still was able to drop a considerable amount of weight, or, however many pant sizes I could say I dropped, 3 pant sizes in a short amount of time. Or in, you just can't be specific. And I know this is really hard for us. It's going to change a lot of the way that we're talking, but we have to get this really clear so that people aren't holding us to a time frame. All right. So it also takes hard work and discipline. And I remember saying that I didn't care how bad the shake tasted, because at the time, the shake didn't taste very good to me. But I knew I really wanted to make a serious change in my life and in my health. And I was determined. There's that hard work and discipline thing. I was determined to have 1 shake a day, no matter what, every single day of the week, 7 days a week. And that is when I started seeing the results happen, right? So, it shows that, did it happen because I had a shake every 3 days? No. Did it happen because, I decided to look at the container and rub my hands around it to see if it worked? No. I actually ingested that shake every single day, no matter how bad it tasted for me at the time. That's how much I wanted to change my body. So anyway, like I said, exceptional results need to have a disclaimer. So we see sometimes where people are featured, the 100-pound club. It might not say how long it took them to lose that weight, but even when we have someone in the 100 and 200-pound club, they have to have disclaimers saying that, these are exceptional results and will not be experienced by everyone, right? Because there's going to be people who are, 400, 500, 600 pounds. And I've actually met people that have been in that place. And not all of them are going to lose their weight, because it does take the discipline. It does take consistency. It does take hard work. So we always have to let people know it's not for everyone. Not everyone is going to get these results. Nothing but the truth. Avoid the hype, even though it's exciting. And oh my gosh, you know how it is, especially at the beginning of this, when people are maybe cleansing for the first time. And I know even for me, I'm going to be starting another 30-day cleanse in September. And I'm excited because I know that when I'm really focused and I get right down to following that system the way it's intended to be followed, I get really excited. And it takes me back to the day I started. So as hard as it is, we really have to avoid the hype and not make it too in people's face. You know what I mean? It's certainly not for everyone. And we can turn a lot of people off. And we can also look non-compliant when we're a little too much hype. Keeping story grounded, be honest and transparent. Is it hard some days? Yeah. Some days I look down and I see that, wherever I am, maybe at a party or something, there's a whole tray full of cheese and crackers and chips and dips and all that kind of stuff. Is it hard for me to not take one? Absolutely. Those are the things I love. I'm a cheeseaholic. I love chips. So be honest and transparent that it's not always going to be easy, but it's worth it. No need to exaggerate. These products do amazing things. We know that. We don't have to exaggerate anything. We don't have to make it bigger than it is. It is what it is, and we're very thrilled that it's as amazing as it is. So try not to exaggerate. Be a product of the product. That's a simple one. And this one was really interesting to me because we all have a satisfaction guarantee, right? Isagenix will actually take back product or give money back or exchange the first 30 days of people trying something. It's not results we're guaranteeing. So this is, again, kind of going back to my thing of, I lost 25 pounds in 6 weeks. I can't say that, number one, but number two, I could never say to someone, well, it worked for me, it'll work for you. And you know what? I will be honest. I think I've said that in the past, that if I can lose 25 pounds in 6 weeks, I don't see why you can't. I don't know what that person's going to do every day. I don't know if they're going to go to the fridge at midnight and eat half their fridge. I don't know if they're getting the proper sleep they need. I don't know if they have high amounts of stress that their body just can't let go of the fat. I don't know all those factors. So I cannot ever, ever, ever guarantee results. Satisfaction, I can guarantee, because if someone doesn't like the shakes, or they're giving themselves excuses for why they can't do this, or why it's not going to work for them, or on and on and on, and we've heard it all before, we can guarantee satisfaction, but not results. Does that make sense? I hope so. Don't fake it till you make it. We know that that's not working. You know, you're not going to start saying, oh, look at the vehicle I'm in right now. I've replaced my income, or whatever it is. Don't fake it. Just be real about it. Success is all about doing something you can change for your life, right? Like, this is not about just a get rich quick scheme, or have the fat cells drop off your body overnight. This is about doing something physically today to change something in your life, right? So it isn't one of those things that people are assuming, because sometimes some of the things we're posting might make it look like that, right? So we have to be really cautious of what we are saying. Share reasonable expectations. This is huge. And this goes for everything in life. We want to be reasonable about the expectations, right? And that's where we also want to use the tools that we already have online about this. Always be credible. All right, let's be clear. Time frame is not okay to share. So we don't say how much and how long anymore. I know we've been doing that in the past, and that was something we were always coached on, but it's not okay to do so. It's more of, with less specifics. You know, I was able to drop 3 pant sizes in less than a year. You could probably say that, something that's a little bit more loose. But to say 25 pounds in 6 weeks, it's not going to fly as far as compliance goes. And this is sad. I mean, some of these things, I'm like, but this is the truth. And I get that, but we have to be so careful, because the reason being is that there are people that expect that if it worked that way for you, it should work that way for me, right? So this is where we don't want to get ourselves into that predicament, that we're painting the picture as the same for everyone. And again, that's where we're going. Not everyone will have the same results. So this is the FDA. They say that even a bad claim with a fantastic disclaimer is not okay. So let's say, for example, you have a bad claim, and here's an example of a bad claim. Let me just see if I have one. If not, I'll just make it up. All right, let's just say, for example, and I've used it kind of before. So this is a bad claim. Don't take this as truth, because it's not. This is a bad claim with a fantastic disclaimer, okay? I had hypothyroid disease, and I was on medication, and I started Isagenix, and voila, I went back to my doctor, and they did a blood test, and I've been taken off my medication. And then the disclaimer part is, please don't assume that Isagenix cures, prevents, treats any disease, because we don't. Okay, so there's an example of a disease was mentioned, medication was mentioned, a doctor was mentioned, taken off the medication was mentioned, and then the disclaimer says, we don't claim to prevent, treat, cure any disease. Well, that's kind of like a wash right there, because number one, you said that, I said, and I'm just giving this as an example, I said that there was a disease, medication taken away by the doctor, and now I'm trying to cover it up with, but we don't claim to prevent, cure, or treat any illness. It doesn't make any sense, right? As much as we think that we're covering our behinds by putting that disclaimer in, it's not covering anything. All it's doing is saying that this is someone who doesn't really understand what compliance is. And I know, guys, I'm not trying to be hard on anybody right now, because I've been there, I've done this. And I actually did it on Facebook. I did it on social media a few times. And thankfully, early on, I got told. And thankfully, early on, friends in my company and in my team, you know, took me aside and said, Terry, you can't say these things, even though your doctor said so, you know, and I'm not giving you that example of that. I actually did something else. But these are things we have to really be careful about. So a lot of us think that doing the disclaimer is okay to cover the rest of it up and just, say that this is what happened for me. I'm not claiming it will happen for you. That's not enough. We just can't say it, period. So here's another great thing to keep in mind. And I love that someone asked this question in the breakout session I was in, because someone said, well, what if I have a website that is not Isagenix? And many of us do. Many of us have personal websites, either, yourname.com or maybe another business page that you've created for yourself to brand yourself aside from Isagenix. And someone said, what if I'm branding myself outside of Isagenix, but I'm still using the term nutritional cleanse and sharing my story on that page, whether it's an income claim or a health claim. And Richard Stagg from Isagenix Corporate in the legal department said, this is a really good question, because number one, many people are doing this. Number two, who is the company known for nutritional cleanse? Isagenix. And if you have a link from your personal branding page to Isagenix, or people are coming to your personal branding page and asking you for support and guidance about your nutritional cleansing system, and it ends up that Isagenix is what you're using, then the claim you made on your personal page is still out of compliance, because you are now redirecting people to Isagenix. So I know myself, I have a lot of cleaning up to do. And I'm just saying that right now because I know that there's some things that I've probably posted and even put on my Isagenix or my non-Isagenix branding sites about my income, about my lifestyle, about my health story. I know there's probably areas that I need to clean up. So I'm just asking each of you right now to go to those pages that you've created, or those blogs, or those, social media places that you've maybe written something down. Go in and clean it up, because we don't want to be the one person or the 1% that brings this company down. Eric Worryclips, I'm just going to share with you a couple of things, and I also want to share a lawsuit document from another network marketing company. But I want to remind everyone that this is everyone's responsibility. So let me just tune in here. Sorry, I've got some children that are playing very rough, it sounds like. So as I play this, I'm going to go take care of business. But in the end, let's keep Isagenix safe, and let's make sure we're here as a legacy company, because that's what we're here for. We want this to be around for a long time. So let's take a listen to what Eric Worry had to share yesterday on Periscope. And unfortunately, it's only available for 24 hours. So I tried to take a quick clip recording from him yesterday.
So you have to learn how to describe your products and services in ways that doesn't create unsubstantiated, non-scientific health claims. Can't do that. Really important that you all understand that, because that brings you bring scrutiny to your company if you do it. Second is income claims. Now, again, I'm so frustrated with the income claims thing, because here's why I'm frustrated. The world is, the governmental agencies, everybody else is asking us to take our customers, most of the people who join your organization that never distribute anything, and count them as distributors, and count that in the success failure rates that you publish to the world. So it gives a wildly artificial, low income representation at every level. Wildly artificial to the negative. And yet companies still do it. They put it all out there. So what in the complaint, which some of it I just think is a little heavy-handed and a little bit overreaching. They're saying, well, if you drive a nice car and you're showing that, that's an inducement that you can, everybody's going to drive a nice car. I don't think anybody says that. In the real life, yeah. In real life, I don't think anybody really says that. I think the message is not everyone will make a lot of money in network marketing, but virtually anyone can. This provides a playing field for an entrepreneur to come in at the lowest possible entry that I know of any entrepreneurial venture, with the most protection of any entrepreneurial venture I know, because you can get your money back. You go start a house cleaning business, they're not going to give you your money back for your business cards and everything else. You're not going to do it. So lowest cost price of entry, best consumer protections, and yet people are like saying we're trying to tell people they're going to get rich in their first 2 seconds. Some people do very well, but here's the reality, and I've talked about this all the time. People talk about, hey, will you work for 4 years here instead of 40 years on the job? I don't know any successful entrepreneurs that did something like that in 4 years. If you're an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. If you're somebody who's building an organization, you're going to be building it for a long time. So do we need to be careful about how we represent the ease of making huge money? Yes. Do we need to make sure that we represent the percentage of success and how likely you're going to be if you succeed? Yes. Now, there are a couple things, and I'm going to, if you're a leader in this profession, there's something that I think you need to pay attention to. And I think as this case fleshes out, it's going to come down to a couple important policy issues, okay? Because we all need to be responsible.
Okay, so there was one, and unfortunately that got cut off, but I just want to see if I can share one more of his. And we may not watch the whole thing, but I'm just going to share with you a couple more parts.
Say this complaint is very broad and very, very heavy-handed. Somebody was, in my view, looks to me like they took it personal for some reason. Somebody got mad at something. And we'll see what happens when they go into this hearing that they have on the 3rd of next month. But it affects all of us, right? Here's what I will tell you. For those that would view this as an opportunity to try and attract VEMA reps into your organization, I'd encourage you not to do that. If you're a friend with somebody there and they reach out to you, that's one thing. But for you to be going into a feeding frenzy on them, I just think it's poor form right now, especially because over the years, Amway had a big FTC case that they won, and they created the case law to be able to allow us to do what we do, and we all need to be thankful for that. Herbalife has gone through a major battle and come out the other side. Wounded, but still strong. And we need to be thankful for that. And this case is actually really important for all of us. So I think we need to come together. I think we need to be strong. I think we need to be supportive. I think they need our prayers. And, I'm going to just continue to try to communicate some standards and practices that would allow us all to move forward with confidence. Some common language that we can all work on together, some ways that we can describe our products and opportunities that are within the law and do not take advantage of consumers, because that's what the FTC is responsible for, is protecting consumers. They have a job to do, and they do it every day in every facet of life. Everybody's trying to oversteps the bounds when it comes to promoting their product or service or taking advantage of consumers. They have an important role to play. So I believe they're doing, based upon the information that they have, I believe that they're doing what they think is right. And hopefully through the process, things will be polished, that there will be more information that will be provided to them. The FTC will get some perspective. The network marketing professional will get some perspective. Us as distributors will get some perspective. And understand, there's 100 million people that are involved in network marketing around the world right now. 100 million people. We do over $180 billion in revenue. We're an important part of the economy. We're an important part of the global economy, not just domestic. So here's what I will tell you. The sky's not falling. It's going to be worked out. It'll be polished just like it has been over the last 50 years. It'll continue to be polished and continue to get better, continue to improve, you know? Like I say all the time, network marketing isn't perfect, but it is better. It is better than other forms of, if you have an entrepreneurial bone in your body, it's better than other forms to be able to go create an income. So let's make sure that we keep our noses clean. Let's make sure that we represent ourselves professionally. Let's make sure that we support each other and we unite professionally. Let's make sure that we are respectful to all agencies, including government agencies that are doing their jobs. And together, let's make it as the profession long-term for the hundreds and hundreds of years as strong as we can possibly make it. Okay? So that's my message for today. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, so that's where I am at as far as Jack. Can you go somewhere else, please, just to finish off? Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. So I do have a couple other things I wanted to share, but right now I don't think that it really makes a lot of sense as far as showing you the lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. But you can do your own investigation and research and see, what lawsuit is going on as far as VEMMA, and it's VEMMA. And I'm certainly not here to bash any companies or cause any kind of conflict about it. But when I read through some of that lawsuit and the names that were mentioned, like individuals like you and I are being mentioned in the lawsuit, and it's based on things they've shared either on their websites, on their social media, word for word what they said. And you know what? Some of those things they're saying are things that I've seen us say. So it is so, so, so important for each of us to really get into this area of understanding what it is we need to do to keep our company safe. I do want to just share one more thing, if I can find it quickly. And it's going to be this Peta Kelly video. And I'm just going to share it with you because I don't know. I've actually asked her if she has this on YouTube, but if she doesn't, I just want to share it here anyway so that you guys can
I just want to pop by with a message that is quite serious, but incredibly important for all of you to understand. So I don't know if any of you have been watching, but the last few days has been quite a uncomfortable few days for people in our profession as a company got closed down because of non-compliant activity. And it really is a reminder of how serious compliance is for all of us. It's a reminder of how it's everyone's responsibility to ensure compliance is at the forefront. It's also a reminder that us as an industry and a profession need to band together and really ensure we are all ambassadors for network marketing and all giving it a great name. And so my heart broke this morning as I thought about all the people who have built and spent their time building, and the employees and everyone who's poured their heart and soul for it to have it just taken away like that. And that's the reality when there's ongoing non-compliance. And so there's a few things I just want to remind you of. And the first one is I want you to understand how good we have it and just why we are so big on compliance, because it's a real thing. And there's certain laws and regulations we have to abide by so that we can keep doing our great work. And it's all across the world. It's incredibly important. We are a network marketing company. And as you know, that is very different to what other people call an illegal pyramid scheme or things that go on. So we need to remember that there are certain things that define us as a reputable, amazing network marketing company. And we need to behave and remember those things all the time. So I want to just go through a few of them with you. The first one is that everything is about the product and everything is about the product experience. And there's a few things around wording and around language, which is so crucial for us to know. And there's a video, as you know, it's how to protect your Isagenix business. It's on YouTube, the Isagenix ANZ YouTube channel, but it's crucial This is one of the most crucial thing you can do as a leader is be all over compliance. So I urge you all to watch that and to post it in your groups and to do so weekly and to ensure every new person you have coming on does so weekly. So the first thing is remembering that it's all about the products. Network marketing is built big and beautifully because of people consuming a product which is changing their life for the better in some way. The reason people can build residual income through network marketing is if and only if people are having a great product experience and finding value in the product, so much so that they would like to be a customer every month. So we have to remember our wording around that. We can't say things like just have to have 100 BV going through each month and that keeps you active so you can earn money. That's not network marketing. It's all around, if you enjoy these products and they do something for you, then you want to order them each month, and order them each month is your auto ship because it's of value, because you're a customer, because you're buying products. And the same thing goes when you're enrolling people. When you're enrolling people, it's not enroll and you enroll in this pack and you're starting a business and you get your products. It's you're purchasing a wellness system and wellness products which are going to help you achieve your wellness goals. It's about the product. And the product results, one product result after the next is what allows and opens up the network marketing business, but it begins with the product, and that's what network marketing is. It's a viable, incredible product which is authentically shared. Yes, you can get people excited about the business. Yes, you share the compensation plan. It's amazing. But we have to remember that when we are enrolling people, we're enrolling them on a system. Then it progresses from there. The auto ship is a system. They are a customer, a product which they love and want to consume. So you've got to remember that when we're speaking, that it's always about the product. And I know you're all so good at that. And I know you all understand how important the product is. But sometimes we get excited about the business and we skip over the product. We can't do that. That doesn't mean that sometimes you're not just going to have a business meeting, of course. But I mean, when you are enrolling, and when you are presenting the opportunity, and when you are setting up someone with an auto ship, we've got to remember that our language is crucial. Another thing that's crucial is your income claims. You can't make income claims, guys. You can't post your checks. And you can't make income claims as if everybody's going to earn a lot of money, because not everybody is. The reality is the compensation plan is there for everyone. Anybody can do what they want with it, but you've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the time. It's a real business. So we've got to be careful not to make income claims like, hey, come in, there's people earning 6 figures. You'll just earn 6 figures. Everybody does. No, we've got to be realistic about this. Here's the compensation plan. There are people who do great things with it. In fact, I've done great things with it because I've worked really hard. You can too. Here's the cycles, and you can do whatever you want with them if you work hard, just like the other people who earn money in Isagenix work hard. So it's always in context. No check flashing, no making crazy income claims without speaking in context, and using the tools, guys. Use the tools. That's why they're there, is to save you having to worry about your language. Another thing is like product B. People are like, what can I say about it? What can I not say about it? The simple thing, and what I do at product B is I say, hey, there is so much great information about this, but I'm not going to tell you. Go on to isamovie.com, go down the bottom and look at the movie, What's Aging You? That's going to tell you all about these products. So I let the tools do the talking, because firstly, I don't know more than the tools, but secondly, then we know we are being compliant because we have something so special and so real and something that is transforming our planet. It is up to us to ensure that we protect it. The next one is we can't make crazy claims around our weight loss. So again, this is something that I know it seems a little bit crazy, but we can't say, hey, I lost 30 pounds in 30 days and that's it. Everything we share has to be in context and has to be realistic. So I lost 30 pounds in a reasonable amount of time through healthy eating, exercise, and my Isagenix system all combined. So it's real. So remember, we don't need to make big noise. What we have is so real that we can speak very humbly about it. We don't have to go and make these big claims. The next one, which is so obvious, but I hope you all really get it. You cannot use the name of a disease, a condition, an illness, a diagnosis, anything at all. You can't use diabetes. Don't type diabetes and Isagenix in the same sentence. Isagenix is not a diabetes. It's not, it doesn't cure, prevent, diagnose, treat any disease. It's a food. You wouldn't write on your Facebook, apples cured my back pain. No, this is a food. Let's remember that the product can do the talking for us. We don't have to be outrageous and make stupid claims. So let's come down to reality of how great what we have is. Let the results do the talking. We don't have to be loud. You be loud with your excitement, with your enthusiasm, but not with wild, outrageous claims. Yes, our products do amazing things, mind-blowing things. Yes, people earn incredible incomes, but let's just let the results do the talking for us. So when we're talking about the illnesses, you don't even say migraine. You definitely cannot say menopause. Just really get your head around that. And there is a list on isogenicsbusiness.com of, things you can say instead of. So for instance, when I had, digestion issues is okay to say. IBS is not, because it's an illness. Back pain, not okay. Remember that discomfort is a great word to use instead of anything. Discomfort. And one thing I love to say that's compliant is I was no longer complaining about the things I was complaining about before. That is the way I share my story. I had gut sensitivity. I had feelings of being out of control with my emotions. I was feeling foggy in the head. I wasn't feeling I could get up before my alarm. And then, within 2 weeks of using these products, what I started to feel was that I was no longer complaining about those things anymore. And I was still working out. I was healthy eating. It's all real. I know how great I felt. And I know the potential of a balanced system. But we have to remember that we cannot make claims. We can let our products do the talking. We can let our compensation plan do the talking. We'll let our vision do the talking. We're inviting something into a whole culture. Yes, but we've got to remember that at the essence of it is we are enrolling people on a product, a life-changing product, which they can choose to consume if they want to every month. And you know what? We have a huge customer base which just consumes the product every month and they don't even consider sharing it. So we've got to remember that that's going to be the basis of our conversation. Yes, you can encourage people to have a look at the full shop. Yes, you can encourage people to up their product if that's going to help them with their results. Of course, but it's all about the results. It's all about the product. It's all about the person. And it's all about keeping it real. If you don't know how to talk about the compensation plan, use the compensation plan video. If you don't know how to talk about the product, use the product video. And one last thing I want to touch on is if you are doing any presentation, anything, if your slides have not gone through compliance, they must go through compliance. They must. And also, if you are presenting at a Wellness Wednesday or anything like, you have to remember that you can't skim over the disclaimer slides. Stop and say, let's get real here. We are putting food into our body, and this is an incredible system which is so intelligent, and so it's incredible what happens when you put solid nutrition into your body, but we're not making any wild claims. We're not making any wild claims because we're not a medicine or a drug. And then when you get to the income, say, hey, incomes vary. Everybody has access to the same opportunity, but it depends on your work and your effort and how many people you really help with these products. So I hope that helps. I want you to all remember that we have a great video to share. You don't have to be an ultimate compliance Nazi, but I encourage you all to be looking over people's Facebook. If something pops up that's non-compliant, let's make a stand. Let's just pop in there in a PM and say, hey, you can't post that. Here's a way that you can say it, which is a lot more compliant, because we don't have to be loud when we have something as great as what we have. I send my love and my prayers to everyone in network marketing companies who are affected by this. I send them love. We are all ambassadors for network marketing, and I'm just so grateful that we have such integrity with how we do things, and I can't thank you enough for everything you do to keep us that way. And let's just stay safe so that we can build a long-term, incredibly beautiful life for ourselves and our family. So I love you all.
And that's a great summary of this whole presentation. And as I'm listening to that, I'm realizing that, I've just been out of compliance because I did not ever think about sharing my slides with compliance to find out if I'm doing things that are okay. So that's something that clearly over these last, I think this is my 6th recording in this MIT series. And so clearly I have some work to do. What I am trying to do though is really put you in touch with the right tools. So again, more information about compliance. This is a great one. I'm just going to take us there right now really quickly. This link is also found in isogenicscompliance.com. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, something happened. I'm going to see if I can type it in here. That link obviously didn't work. Compliance.com. When I go in here, where I found it was, oh, let's see where it was. Flyers and brochures, I think. Build your business the right way. And here's a really quick summary of compliance. It's just it's a trifold. If you were to actually print it off, it's a trifold brochure about product claims. And again, a really great summary of what we just covered: weight loss claims and income claims. And obviously the very bottom here, which we haven't really talked about, is lifestyle claims are the same. So, you know, we can't make a lifestyle claim about vacations, cars, all this kind of stuff. We have to always, like Peter Kelly says, put it in context of, you know, this work that we've done over the last few years has allowed us choices, has allowed us more freedom. But it comes down to how much we are willing to put into our own business and be an entrepreneur and a CEO of our own business. The time that it took, the heartache that it took, you know, all the things that it actually took for you to get to those places. And like I said, I know we've all been guilty of this, and I am included. And this is just one of those moments now that we really have to take a closer look at what we are doing, just to protect what we already have, and so that we don't lose what we've gained. So that is it for today. I just want to really keep everyone in that place of understanding our position in this, that it is everyone's responsibility. And I know that I have all of your support, because if you've taken the time to watch this, I know that you're serious about keeping this business around a long, long time. So I thank you for your time and commitment today. I thank you for keeping Isagenix safe. And I also do express hope for the future of network marketing, so that we all continue to build lasting legacy companies and teams and business, and I mean, on and on. But there are companies right now that need our support. Please don't pick these companies apart, because we are all in the same profession. We're all here to support each other, no matter what company we've chosen to be our home. So I just hope that every single one of you understands that this is not a time for us to be critical. This is a time to link arms even more with the profession and really become united. So thanks everyone for your time, and I really hope that from here on we can spread the message of being a compliant company. Take care. Bye for now.